Hello everybody, a very warm welcome back to MEC-TEC. Now, today we are on Mrs. MEC-TEC's Grand CMAX, the family wagon, and we are doing probably one of the most important jobs maintenance-wise that you need to do on these particular cars, or any Ford in fact, with the PowerShift automatic gearbox, and that is the gearbox oil service. That comprises of an oil and filter, as a normal engine would, obviously in the gearbox. This being a dual clutch, I think it's a dual clutch gearbox in these, they do need a oil and filter change every 30,000 miles, and that is paramount to the gearbox's survival. If you don't do it, they will go bang and you will be in for an expensive bill. So this is just clocked over 61,500, so it's basically due for its second one. It should have been due at 60,000. I missed the 60,000, but still, I think the other one was done when we first bought the car at about 30,500. So we're about 1,000 miles over, so not too bad. So that is going to be the gist of today's video. We're going to get this all serviced and singing and dancing and back, obviously how it should be maintenance wise, as far as the gearbox is concerned anyway. So first job is going to be get the bonnet open. We need to get the air filter out. And that then shows us where the gearbox is and also where the fuel plug is. That is the first point of call, because obviously we're going to make sure the fuel plug comes undone before we do any draining of any sort. Otherwise, if you drain it all out first and then your fuel plug won't come undone, then you're in trouble. So let's get under the bonnet. I'll show you exactly where things are, go through it step by step. And if you've got a full PowerShift gearbox in your Ford, then obviously maybe this is a job you could do too. It is a fairly simple job, hopefully. So let's crack on and get some work done, and I'll show you exactly what we're doing. Right, first job is getting this airbox off. Now it is held on by this pipe, which has got a clamp either end. Now obviously, whichever clamp is easier for you to get to is the one to undo. For me, it's this one at the top here, so it'll come off with the hose. Just loosen that off. It's quite hot under here because I've just taken the car for a run. That is one thing I would say to do, is take the car for a run, go through all the gears and make sure that the gearbox is nice and hot, so that when it drains out it all comes out easier. Right, there's our pipe off there, as you can see. We've got one electrical connector there which comes off like that. I've also got a little clip there on the airbox which we've got to get off, which holds the wiring. Maybe easier to pop that out once I've got the airbox in the air. So we've got one little tab here which you unpop that off of there. That then allows this to lift up, and the whole thing is on like rubber bungs and pop clips, which you just pull up on and it should just pop off like that. And that allows us to then get to the bottom of our clip on here, winkle it out. Actually, it's like a fir tree clip, so you just got to pull it and winkle it. There we go. Right, there is our airbox out, easy as that. Okay, with that out, we can now see the gearbox itself. That is this unit here, obviously. Big metal block on the side of your engine, and that is the fuel plug. So that's what we're going to undo first of all, to make sure we can get it undone. And then once we've got that loosened off, we can go underneath the car and do all the bits underneath the car. So I'm going to go and grab, I think that's an 8mm Allen key I should say. So we'll go and grab an 8mm Allen key, just crack that off, and then we'll go under the car and start under there. Okay, 8mm, just making sure it is an 8mm, I'm telling you the right thing. Yep, it is. So we'll just undo that, not all the way, just make sure it comes undone. Yeah, that was okay, pretty loose. We'll just undo it a little bit like that. That's ready for us to obviously feel now. So now that's loose, I'm going to get the car jacked up, get it in the air, and then we can go underneath and I'll show you what the next step is. Right, whilst I was on time lapse, I've actually taken off the under tray, which is just held in around the edge with I think either 6 or 7. And I'm just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 Torx bits around the edge, which are T30. They're pretty self-explanatory to take off, so I didn't bother showing that too in depth. That obviously then shows us our gearbox. As you can see here, it's this whole half of the metal casing you can see there, and it is actually in 2 chambers. There's a separate, inside it is a separate wall, like a wall that goes sort of a little way up. So you've got a front half and a back half, and there are two drain plugs, one here and one back here. They're both 8mm Allen keys as well. Now, what's slightly concerning is this is a little bit wet. So I don't know whether I've got a leak or whether whoever filled it last has spilt oil all everywhere, because if you look at it, it's got residue coming down here. It's all like residuey. So what I think I'm going to do is clean it all up with some brake cleaner and just keep an eye on that for now, because if we have got a leak somewhere, obviously I need to sort that out. If it is just the fact that someone's spilt it when they've changed the gearbox last, the oil last, when we first bought it, then obviously it's just from that. So I'm going to give this a little bit of a clean up, as I say, and then we can get a pan under here and we can drain the oil out of those 2 bungs, see what it looks like. So let me do that and I'll come back to you in a second. Right, with our little oil mess cleaned up, it was all down the front of the engine here as well, so I'm pretty sure it was from them filling it up not very well. Let's drain this out and see what we get. I'm going to just undo both of them very slightly like that. They're not very tight. I think the spec is about 42 Newton meters of torque, if you want to know torque. I've got a nice clean bowl, well, clean as my bowls ever get, so we can see exactly what comes out of it. Let's see what we get. I'm expecting this to be pretty black, because these gearboxes, as I say, if you don't do these oil changes on them, they do implode inside. Oh, that's not bad actually. That's pretty clear. If you look at that, that's not bad at all. That's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But that is good as well, because obviously it proves that hopefully the health of the gearbox is all right. Yeah, that's pretty golden. I mean, when you look at it in the bowl, it looks a lot darker, but coming out in that stream like that, that's pretty damn good. I'm pretty chuffed with that. Thought that was going to be a lot darker than that. That's mega. I'm pleased. This is the importance, see, of doing it on schedule, because if you don't, it really does get crudded up and goes all black and manky. I've just got to make sure I don't get this all over the driveway. It's quite windy out here today. I don't know if you can hear it on the mic, but pretty blowy out here today, so I'm going to let this drain out. Obviously get all of it out as we can. I'm really chuffed how clean that is. That's really good. We'll do the same with the back half once this is drained out, and then obviously we'll get onto the filter. There's a little filter on the side which you have to change to obviously keep everything moving as it should be and make it so it flows nice but still filters the oil at the same time. Right, I shall come back to you when this is drained completely, and we'll see what comes out the back half. Right, onto the rear drain plug now. Now, as I say, I already loosened this off slightly, so it is already sort of semi-loose as such. Try and get as much of this in the bowl as I can again. I'm expecting this to be basically the same as the last one. It should be identical because it's obviously all in the same big gearbox. Just a bit concerned about this wind, that's all. Yep, totally clean. Once again, that is as best as I could hope at this gearbox, to be honest with you. So that's really, really good. Now, one thing that is slightly concerning is neither of these plugs on the bottom here have got any washer on them. They've got no copper washer on them or anything to seal. So I think what I might do is get a little bit of thread sealant that I've been using on the Lotus. I might actually put a little bit of that around it just to stop it leaking. Because obviously it might have had a little seep out of it, but just to make sure that it's not going to leak, I'd rather just put a little bit of sealer around the thread. I don't know whether to do that or not, to be honest with you, because I don't really want to get sealer in the gearbox, that's anything. Not sure what to do about that. Maybe I'll leave it be, because it's how it is. They're both the same. They've both not got a washer on them. I'm assuming they don't have a washer. Don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that. And it hasn't leaked out up to now, so Like we're still getting a full amount of oil out of this. I've got the bowl in the way at the moment, but it's blowing everywhere otherwise. It has still got the full amount of oil in it, so I think maybe I'll leave it as be actually. I'll just tweak them up. Second thoughts and all that. Right, I'm going to let this drain out the same way. It's pretty much identical to the front one, and then I'll come back to you. Right, we're now on the passenger side of the gearbox, or passenger side of the car I should say, at the side of the gearbox, and you can see that housing there, which I'm shining my torch on, is the oil filter housing with that big 32mm nut shape on the end of it. Now I don't know if you can see, but at the top there it's got like teeth around the top of it, and there is a clip which has got a little sort of sticky out bit. I'm going to try and zoom in on it if I can. It's very difficult to show on camera, but if I zoom in you might be able to see it. Hoping so. Right, just in there you can see there's a little clip sticking out. If I try, I can't hold the torch and get a screwdriver on it at the same time, but basically you need to get a screwdriver in this gap and just sort of hold that back for the first few turns so that it doesn't engage with the teeth on the filter housing, if that makes sense. Let me see if I can get the camera set up and I'll show you what I mean. Hang on a second, let me come back to you in a sec. Right, I've got the camera set up. I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this on camera. I'm trying to hold the torch. So if I get a screwdriver in here, there's a little clip which I'm hoping you're going to be able to see move. You kind of have to do it from this side, so it's kind of in the way of the camera, but there's a clip. You can see it on camera. But basically, if you get a screwdriver in there and just turn it very slightly, like I am there, it just pushes the clip back enough for them to allow you to undo this. So let me zoom you out so you can see what's going on. You will need a swivel socket for this as well, because the front crossmember of the car is slightly in the way of it. It's very difficult to film this because I need to get the bowl right where you're sitting. I'm going to do this. I'll sit these like that. You can see the housing just about from there. Oh, there we go. If I put you back a bit. I'm going to try and wedge this torch in here if I can, so you can see what's going on, and I can see what's going on as well. Right, torch is in there. Let's get our socket. Screwdriver's got to go in there. Just hold that clip back a little bit. It's only, I know it's very difficult to show on camera this. I'm hoping you're going to get the gist of it, and then you get your swivel socket on the end of that. If it'll go, that is. Which mine doesn't look like it will. That's going to be the next problem. I may have to get grips on it instead. It's either that, or you can actually take this cross member out. I might do that. It's held in with a bolt, nut and bolt this end by the looks of it. You have to take the front under traff to get on. I can get to it from the top side. So there's a cap. I think there's a captive nut this side with a bolt going through it and a bolt going through there. That is going to be a pain to get that off, though. I wonder if I can just winkle that on there. Probably need some special shortened 32mm socket or something. I'll tell you what I might try, rather than taking all that crossmember and everything off, is I might try getting an adjustable on it and see whether I can get an adjustable on there, because I don't know how tight that is. If it's not too tight, we might get away with it. If not, as I say, this crossmember may have to come out, which is going to be a right pain. You can't even angle the crossmember one way because it's got a housing around it, so it has to come out right out if you're going to take it out. I've got a 32mm spanner. I'm going to try that. Let me go and grab that. Right, now that's cleaned up a little bit and has stopped dripping the oil, you can see the black clip I'm saying to you about that just sticks out very slightly. That is the little bit in the middle there that you have to push back on very slightly to stop that from clicking on the tabs as you undo the housing. It's not mega tight clip or anything, it literally just needs a little bit of a push with a screwdriver to push it back. And it's only that very centre bit, you can see it's like a prong sticking out. That is the bit you need to, there you go, I've focused on it a bit better now, there we go. That's the bit you need to just make sure you're not sort of wanging it around and clicking that off and breaking it. So just make sure that's pushed back very slightly when you first undo it, and it'll stop it clicking into those tabs. That is the bit I was trying to show. Obviously it's harder to show when it's all covered in dirt and mank and the oil filter's actually in the way. So right, let me go and get all our new stuff, new oil, new filter, and we'll start the reverse procedure of putting this all back together. Right, here is our new kit. Now they actually sent me 8 litres of oil. I don't think this car needs 8 litres, I think it needs 6. I might have to have a chat with them about that, but there we go. There is our oil. I'll just show you, it's the genuine Ford stuff. Transmission fluid BO-DC. Don't know what that stands for, but that's that. And that's the filter, genuine one. Part number is, what is it? 42B43A02, I'm guessing is the part number. Or it might be 1589089, I don't know. But anyway, all the information's on there, so you can see all that. We'll just pop that out of the box. Well, there's the part number. Yeah, it is 1589089. There you go. That's on 2 different stickers. That must be the part number. Getting this out of the box for you. There's our new one, as you can see there. Nice new filter inside, nice and white. That's what it starts off like. It just shows you our one was dark grey, so it was a little bit dirty, but not horrendous, so that's good. There is an O-ring around the top of this housing, which you need to make a little bit lubricated with some of the old transmission oil that you've got out. And basically, it's just a reverse procedure of winding this back in. Oop, drop the phone. Sorry about that. Right, where are we? Got to get you back in the right place again, haven't I? Obviously I'm working up here where I just showed you the housing. Just get here, you dip your finger in the old oil, rub it around this housing, O-ring I should say, so that it's not going to chafe the new O-ring up when you wind it in. It doesn't matter that it's old oil because you're only using it as a lubricant for that, it's not anything else. Like that. Where's my rag gone? Where's my rag? Right. Basically you've got to wind that back in again, the same way as it came out. Very self-explanatory. Don't go too mental with it once it's done up, obviously, because otherwise you'll end up snapping the housing off because it's only plastic. Someone having a sing as they drive past on their push bike. That's nice. The majority. Hear that clicking? That's locked in now. So I don't know whether you're only supposed to do this up by hand. But having said that, it has got a spanner attachment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the spanner on it, and I'm going to I'm going to lightly give it a little tweak. Not much, just so that it's, because it wasn't very tight before, I didn't think. Obviously I don't want it to leak, so and also get it so that little plastic tab is inside one of the teeth on the housing, if that makes sense. Like that. I don't think I want to go any more than that because that's pretty tight. And the tab, let me see if I can zoom in for you, the tab is in between the teeth, which means it's locked in. I'm just trying to move the oil out of the way so I can show you at the same time. I know I'll keep going over this, but I'm just trying to show everything here so that you can see what's going on. If it will focus. There you go, you can see the tab there now is now in between 2 of those teeth that are on that housing. You can just about see it there, basically in the middle of the screen. So that is the filter back in. There we go. So now we're on to refilling. So we need to go topside again and get some more on the go. There you go, there's a quick look at the colour of the oil. It is actually pretty dark when you look at it in a mass like that. Obviously when you put it in it's totally clear, so although it was clean, I thought it was clean coming out, it's still very worth doing as such. So I'm pleased we've done it. Keep it in good stead. So let's get to the top side, get a funnel and get this thing filled back up. Right, obviously back top side again. We can now undo the rest of our fill plug that we undone earlier. Obviously it's only finger tight now, so we can just undo that easily. Just comes out again. No wash or O-ring or anything on that. Would have thought we would have had something on there, but apparently not. So there we go. Right, funnel going in. Hopefully a funnel will fit. No, it won't. Okay, I need to find a smaller funnel. I shall come back to you in a second. Right, this funnel just about fits, so let's hope it doesn't glug out everywhere. Basically, it's just going to be a case of pouring these in one by one. I'm going to put 6 litres in to start with, and then we'll check our level, which you have to do through a plug on the side of the gearbox under the wheel arch, which means I've got to take the passenger front wheel off. Which isn't ideal because I've got the car up in the air and I need to undo the wheel nuts. So it's going to be a bit of an issue, but we'll sort that out when we get there. So I'm going to glug 6 litres into here. We'll check our level on the side, then we'll run it. So obviously run it all through the gears, get the oil around the filter and everything else, and then we'll check the level again. Now there is a bit of a bone of contention with checking it again, because obviously the oil may be more in the rear chamber than it will in the front. So what you may have to do is open the level plug, make sure obviously that it comes out, let it finish coming out, and then pour a little bit more new stuff in the top so that it's back up to level again, and you know both chambers are full, if that makes sense. So it is a little bit of to and froing with that side of things, but this stuff is really thin compared to normal gearbox oil. It's really thin, and also it doesn't smell like normal gearbox oil, which is a great thing, because I hate the way normal gearbox oil smells. It is one of the worst things, especially if you get it in your clothes. You never get it off, you basically got to throw it away. Right, there's a 3rd litre. I'm hoping this is going to make a bit of a difference to this, because we have noticed it's a little bit sluggish going from like reverse to drive over the last couple of months. So I'm hoping this might make the difference of obviously sorting that out. Now this oil, I've noticed as I'm pouring it in, when I fill the funnel up with the oil, it isn't actually as clear as you might think. So that old oil might not be as dirty as what we thought it might be. It was. How many up to now? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5. 5's going in now. You can see how thin it is because of how quick it pours. Right, this is number 6 going in now, so what we'll do, as I say, we'll run it up. In fact, no, we'll check the level, then we'll run it up, and we'll check it again. There we go. Right, I'm going to get the wheel up, get the wheel off on the passenger side, and we'll check the level. Right, it's at this point in time that I was going to tell you that you need to take all your arch liner out, as you can see I've done here, and go inside to check the level of the gearbox. Now this was all the research that I did online. Everyone said you have to check the oil with a plug on the side of the gearbox. Well, this gearbox is a DS7R 7211. And it doesn't have a plug on the side of the gearbox, seemingly. They've done away with it. There is no way to check the level of the gearbox oil, which is really, really stupid. Now, I don't take out any of those bolts that are on the side there that don't look like a drain plug, because otherwise I'll end up in a world of pain. So, what I've had to do is basically measure back what I've just taken out, and it is exactly 6 litres, as you can see there, pretty much. So that is what I've put back in. So that's all I can do is put back in what I've taken out. It looks very slightly less than 6 litres in those cans, so it may have lost a slight bit, but I've put 6 litres back in already. So we'll just have to assume that that's correct and go with that, I guess. Now also just shows you here as well, this is another way if you do want to take the arch liner out and make this life a little bit easier for yourself. You can get to the oil filter housing there with the arch liner out quite a bit easier. I did it from underneath just because I was trying to save a little bit of time. Obviously you don't, on this gearbox, you don't need to take the arch liner out, so you can do it the way I did it and not have a problem. If you have got to take the arch liner out for the earlier gearboxes which have the fill plug or the level plug in the side, then you have to take the arch liner out to check it anyway, so you may as well do the oil filter with the arch liner out and make life easier for yourself. But on this particular gearbox, for whatever reason, there is no way of checking it, which is really, really stupid. So there we go, I've put 6 litres back in of the gearbox oil, the same as what came out. You saw me put that in a minute ago. I've put the fill plug back on the top. I'm going to put the airbox back in. That literally just pushes in with one electrical connector and one plug. Sorry, one electrical connector and one pipe, I should say. I've already done that plug back up there, and that is it. That is your gearbox oil service done. I think it's daft that, just noticed that should be part of the airbox. That's obviously snapped off at some point in time. I think it's daft they haven't put a fill plug on it. I thought this may be the fill plug here, but it's not. I took that out, it's just a bolt. So I put that back in a bit sharpish, so I didn't want to damage anything or get anything out of a line that shouldn't be out of a line or whatever else. So yeah, there we go. That is all I can do. Right, we've got another little job to do on Mrs. MEC-TEC's car while we're here. When we first moved to this new house, unfortunately she nudged a tree as she backed it on the driveway and it knocked the tailgate very slightly out of alignment, as you can see by the wear on that catch on that side. As you can see, this side's not touching at all. So I want to just pop this cover off. Hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. It's gone down there. I don't know if I have to take those bits off or not, but we'll take them off just in case they're covering up any bolts. By the looks of it, they're not. Actually, you can actually adjust this catch through those holes. That's handy. So you haven't got to take the whole trim off. I was going to take the whole trim off. That's really good. Okay, so that's going to be easier than I thought. So we need looks like a T30 again. Might be a bit bigger than that actually. Might be a T40. I'm going to go and get the right size Torx bit, and we'll just have a little adjust on that and see whether we can get that to adjust right, because it's got a little bit of a rattle as well. So it's good you haven't got to take that trim off. That's really good. I'd have done this a long while ago if I'd have known that. Let me go and grab the Torx and I'll come back to you. Right, this should be fairly straightforward, hopefully. Just looking at what size it is. A T40, just so you know. And we'll just slacken these off very slightly. And what we're going to do is move it. It's rubbing on this. Right then, that is going to be it for this episode on MEC-TEC. I'm sorry for the lack of content for the last couple of weeks. I've been doing jobs on various different cars and kind of not got to a point where I can actually end the video, if that makes sense. So the Alpha is now all completely prepped, for paint. The bonnet's sitting there. We've just got to get the paint, which has been ordered now, and get that painted. You'll notice my voice has gone a bit weird. I don't know why. I woke up this morning and I felt absolute rubbish. Felt like I've been hit by a freight train full of all of, well, you don't want to know what my nose is all full of, but anyway, it's given me a bit of a funny voice as well. So, not sure what the hell's going on there, but anyway, in the background, I've been working on the cab as well. Now, I haven't filmed it because it was a case of get it done quick. As you would have known if you're in the UK, it's been mega hot here for the last few weeks on and off, and the cab aircon was not working. So I've gone through the cab aircon system, put a new aircon condenser in it, replaced the pipe which runs from the bottom of the aircon condenser right the way around to the dryer, both the seals on the pipes on the dryer, both the seals on the pipes on the going to the compressor, and the compressor ring seals that actually attach to the body of the compressor as well. So I've done that. It's not a particularly interesting video, so I didn't bother filming it, but I have been doing that in the background as well, and I've now got working aircon in the cab again now, which is an absolute godsend when it's getting on for sort of 30 degrees, because although it's 30 degrees outside, my phone was measuring nearly 40 degrees in the cab because the heat soak coming through the firewall is so strong on that, where it's just sitting running all the time in whatever traffic, that it just literally is like having a heater on in front of you the whole time. It's horrendous. At least with the aircon, it counteracts that, obviously knocks the heat down, and because the fan's running when the aircon's on, it blows cold air into the engine bay and cools the engine bay down a little bit as well, which obviously means you don't get as much heat soak through. Anyway, I'm waffling. That is just me telling you what I've been doing in the background. I've not done any more on the Lotus engine at the moment. I started rebuilding the water pump and had a bit of a calamity with that, so you'll see that in an upcoming video. I've got to order a second rebuild kit for the water pump, unfortunately, but that is what it is. There we go. It's one of those things. It's just is what it is with old cars and parts and whatever else. And when numpties like me get older stuff, it tends to go wrong sometimes. So there we go. What else have I been working on? The Puma. The Puma is been off the road again since the last video, mainly because the MOT ran out, but also because it was still not running right under hard acceleration. It was popping and banging and basically starving itself of fuel. I found the culprit, hopefully, and I've fixed it now as of yesterday, so that is going to be an upcoming video as well. So the Puma's been worked on, the Alpha's been worked on, the cab's been worked on off camera, and the Lotus has had a bit of work done to the engine, but not a lot at the moment. So things have been happening. It's just not been very video worthy as far as finishing a video at the moment. So that is why I've not been around for a few weeks, or a couple of weeks. So I don't know even how long it is now, but it's at least a couple of weeks. I'm hoping to get a bit more regular content once all these videos start coming together. It just is what it is, unfortunately. Because of everything that's going on with the house and as far as decorating and stuff like that and work, and it's just been a flat spin the whole time. And obviously I have to drive a little bit further into London now to get to work, so that takes a bit longer, takes a bit more toll, and means I haven't got so much energy to do stuff during the day, although I'm trying. So yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately. I'm doing my best to try and keep the videos going, but it is kind of a bit hard at the minute. I also still need to finish the other workshop shed build. As of part 2 of that video, obviously it was all built, but the roof wasn't finished. The roof still isn't finished. Luckily, it's not been very wet, because otherwise it would have got soaked inside. It doesn't leak too badly. It's got a cut down the middle of the roof where the original felt was cut to take the roof apart. So I need to refelt the roof, but I'm extending the front of the roof and the side of the roof at the same time, which is why it hasn't been just a quick, easy refelt. It's been building the extra bits on and whatever else. So that is going to be another upcoming video at some point, finishing the roof on the new workshop stroke shed stroke parts, whatever storage you want to call it, and hopefully getting that sort of done so it's all watertight, and then we can start working on the inside, getting electrics and boarding out and everything else and all that sort of thing, and actually getting a bit of workspace in there that's a bit more usable. So yeah, things have been going on. It's just unfortunately I've not been able to show them to you as it's happening. So there we go. Right, if you do like videos like this on the CMAX, obviously Mrs. MEC-TECs CMAX is all serviced as far as the gearbox is concerned. We have been driving it around for about 3 or 4 days now since I've made that video, maybe a bit longer, a week, and it does seem to be a lot better. It's a lot quicker going from reverse to first, and it just seems a little bit more sort of, what's the word, positive in the gear changes and all that sort of thing. So it's definitely done it some good, so that's really, really good. Obviously I washed it at the end of the last clip, so that was all clean, ready for the next week of going back and forward to work and making it dirty again. So there we go. It's all good and up and running and everything else, so that is really, really good. A definite maintenance item if you've got any Ford PowerShift gearbox. Obviously you'll know if you've got a smaller engined PowerShift gearbox. I think the Fiestas and K Plus, if they do them in auto, and also the Focuses, I think they're dry clutch gearboxes. It's only when you get to the bigger cars like the C-Max, Cougar, S-Max, Galaxy, they've got the wet clutch gearboxes in them. I'm pretty sure that's the right models for those side of things. So obviously make sure if you've got a PowerShift of any kind, make sure which one you've got, and if it needs an oil change and it hasn't had it in at least the last 30,000 miles, get it done, because it will eventually make the gearbox go bang, because that filter will gradually clog up, and then obviously you'll lose drive and it'll make the clutches overheat, and so on and so on. It's a chain reaction involving a lot of money once it goes wrong, no doubt. So that's what I was trying to prevent. That service kit I bought was 270 quid, which obviously wasn't cheap, but they did give me 2 extra litres of oil I didn't really need. So it'd probably be a little bit cheaper than that. I've actually gone back to them and said, can I return the other 2 litres, because I don't need them. I'm not going to need them for another 30,000 miles, so they'll just be sitting on the side doing nothing. So hopefully it will come down to sort of just over 200 quid, 225, 230, something like that. So that's the sort of cost you're looking at to do that gearbox oil service yourself, which isn't too horrendous to prolong the life of the gearbox, you know. Come 90,000 miles, I'll be doing it again if we've still got the car. So there we go. Right, I'm now absolutely waffling. If you could do 4 things for me: like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. It's all free, it costs you absolutely nothing, and I really, really do appreciate it. It helps me out massively on the channel. And all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching. And if you want to join me soon for more automotive ventures, I will see you again next time. Cheers, guys.